Hey everyone, this is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today. I wanted to quickly share my thoughts about this Keke Palmer Darius Jackson situation. Apparently, Darius went to a blogger and submitted photos of Keke Palmer allegedly physically abusing him. He showed like scratches on his little tiny scratches on his arm and on his neck, right? And if you guys remember the show Love and Marriage Huntsville, Melody admitted to slapping Martell in the face a couple times. We saw an episode where Melody threw a glass at Martell. And if you didn't have the proper context about their relationship, you would assume that Melody was the aggressor. She was the reason why, Martell was abusing her emotionally and mentally because Melody was so physically abusive. If you guys know anything about narcissistic abuse, there's something called reactionary abuse, where the person who is being abused gets so frustrated, they become so enraged that they end up physically assaulting their abuser. They may slap them, or they may even cheat on them or do the same thing to the narcissist that's being done to them. That's called reactionary abuse. So a couple days ago, I discussed what happens when men do not have power in relationships. I said that men who do not have power in relationships, they take the power from the woman in one of several ways. Number one, they use deception by way of cheating or stealing money. They become manipulative and or they become physically violent. They take the power by force. So men find ways to take power from women who are more powerful and who have more resources in them. And this is what Bobby Brown did to Whitney Houston. Bobby Brown liked the idea of being married to the most famous woman celebrity in the world. She was beautiful, she was rich, she was in love with him, very talented. She was a trophy for him, right? But on the flip side of that, he also resented her being that trophy. And so behind the scenes, he was working his damnedest to break her down with the cheating, with his alcoholism, with his bipolarism, with his messiness. He basically helped to destroy Whitney Houston. If you saw Whitney Houston before she got with Bobby and then you saw her after they got divorced, you would see how much he ravaged her. Now, I'm going to read an interview that Darius Jackson did for People magazine in July of this year, July 12, 2023. Okay? The article states, Keke Palmer's boyfriend, Darius Jackson, spoke openly about the strains of their relationship in an interview conducted before the couple's recent drama. Jackson said that he held Palmer, 29, to a perfect standard after going public with their romance as he joined the actress on the latest episode of her podcast, Baby. This is Keke Palmer. So Jackson, Darius Jackson, the one without the career, without the money, without the fame, without the resources, he was the one holding Keke Palmer to a perfect standard. This was his way of flipping the script and taking power away from her. Now you have to adhere to a perfect standard that I have created for you. I'm coming here with nothing, but in order for me to take my power back, I'm going to hold you to my standard. And it has to be perfect. You have to be perfect. And that is a red flag for me. You know why? Because Martell held Melody to the same perfect standard. Martell said Melody gave him 85% of what he wanted. But because she couldn't give him the 15% he wanted, right? Because she was the mother of 4 kids, running 2 businesses, taking care of the household, he judged her off of that 15% that he said he was missing, okay? And he went and got that 15% from somebody else. So when someone holds you to a perfect standard, more than likely they're very abusive. They're either mentally abusive or emotionally abusive. And sometimes they become physically abusive. So this man, Darius, who has nothing to offer Keke, is holding her to a perfect standard in order to appropriate her power, right? Now, I'm saying this, not the People magazine article. He is saying, I'm going to make these rules for you to follow because this is how I can assert my power over you. And if you don't meet these rules, then you're not meeting my standard. Leo 7th house. He's apparently an Aquarius. And like I said, Martell did the same thing. Melody was running 2 businesses, taking care of 4 kids, taking care of the household. But that 15%, nah, you're not good enough for me. You're not satisfying me. And this is why Melody reacted the way she did to him. This is called reactionary abuse. Narcissists usually are, a lot of male narcissists aren't just physically abusive. Some of them are, but most of them are more so mentally and emotionally abusive. So a lot of narcissists hold their partners to these perfect standards that they can't even meet, so that they can have control and power over them. That's the oldest trick in the book. So now you're walking on eggshells trying to impress somebody who ain't got shit, who came to the table with nothing. You elevated them, you upgraded them like Melody did with Martell. You're upgrading them and they're looking at you like they're doing you a favor by tolerating your imperfections. You're not good enough for them now. This is like, I swear to God. How are you going to come into the situation with nothing and hold the person who has all the power, all the fame, the resources, the reputation, the status that you want? You're going to hold them to your standard. Okay, let me continue with this article. At first, he says, it was definitely hard because it could all be very overwhelming. It was very overwhelming and intense at first, he said. It was. Keke Palmer agreed. Their chat was recorded before Jackson's public rant last week over Palmer's outfits at Usher's Las Vegas concert. Now, if you guys remember a few months ago, Keke Palmer wore a very revealing but a beautiful, tasteful dress to Usher's content. And he was like, you're a mom, right? You shouldn't be dressing like this, something like that. Trying to imply that she was being a bad mother or a bad girlfriend or just a bad mother. He didn't say you're a girlfriend. He didn't say you're a wife. He said you're a mother, right? He tried to attack her motherhood. Red flag number 2. Like Martell tried to attack Melody's motherhood. He said that he was the dominant parent, right? And Melody was too busy working to take care of him and the kids. He always put him and the kids in the mix, not just him, the kids. So whatever he wasn't getting, he projected that onto the children, okay? So Darius said, you're a mother, right? He didn't say you're a girlfriend. He didn't say you're a wife. You're a mother. So you're a bad mother. Basically, that's what he's implying by wearing this outfit. And then he continues, quote, and it's like you almost feel that pressure of needing to be perfect. Jackson continued. And so it really confused me and infiltrated my mind because not only did I have to hold myself to that perfect standard, I was also holding you to a perfect standard as well. You meaning Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer already had a reputation that preceded this relationship. So he's holding her to a perfect standard, but now he's trying to dog her out and saying she abused him. I wouldn't be surprised if she slapped the shit out of him after he said something horrible to her or put his hands on her. Okay. Somebody on the forums was like, allegedly he choked out his own sister, Darius. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Keke Palmer did slap the shit out of him, it was because of something that he said or did to her. Okay. I'm not condoning domestic violence, but I do understand reactionary abuse. I understand when people are so fed up, they're so angry and frustrated with somebody just beating them down verbally, the way Martell was doing Melody, that they have to strike back. They have to say something and do something. He was always plotting on ways to take her power for himself, just like Martell did with Melody. And I keep mentioning them because there's so many parallels here. A woman who's about her business, young, beautiful, no kids, find someone that's in the streets. Martell was kind of sort of in the streets when he met Melody. Melody gets her builder's license. And they get married. Of course, they built together. But Melody is obviously the brains behind the businesses. She's obviously the one running the ship. And she's obviously the one with the most power because of her competency and her intellect and her work ethic. And so in order for Martell to get his power back, he had to punish her for not giving him 100%. He had to punish her for the 15% he was missing. 85% wasn't good enough. You're not meeting my perfect standard. This is the only way I can assert power and control over you, to hold this 15% over you. You're not perfect. So now I'm going to weaponize this 15% deficit against you. Now, for another man who was about his business, who was more confident in himself and comfortable with himself, for that man, Melody would have been 100%. For that man, Melody would have been 100%. A beautiful, childless woman with ambition, work ethic, willing to work with me, willing to forgive me for my transgressions and my imperfections. She would have been 100% for many other men. Just like Keke Palmer would have been 100% for other men who was not Darius Jackson. So now, like I said, because I'm insecure and broken inside, I'm going to have to use your imperfections against you to hold you to my high standard so that I have control over you in the situation. Okay, back to the article. So any moment of flaw on my side or your side It was World War III because it's like, and now the world sees us, Palmer commented. So, oh my God, this is like seventh house Leo. Like, she's a trophy. The relationship itself is the trophy. Forget the quality of the relationship. It's like, okay, now the world sees us, right? Any moment of flaw on my side or your side. What flaw? I'm confused. If she was so flawed, why were you with her in the first place? Because Keke Palmer's reputation was pretty squeaky clean for someone who's been in the industry for over 20 years. Almost 20 years, at least, right? She's only 30 years old now. Okay? She's been in the game for a long time. A pretty squeaky clean reputation. She didn't need you to hold her to any sort of standard. She actually knows how to comport herself very well. Keke has always carried herself like a lady, unlike Sexy Red or Cardi B. You can't put these three women in the same category at all. So Keke has always presented herself like a wholesome, attractive, but, just a wholesome young lady. She wasn't out here doing wild stuff. She wasn't known for that at all. She seemed like she was raised well. She was raised with values, right? And so, yeah, for you to come along and say, I have to make sure we're perfect. No, nigga. You're projecting your insecurities onto her because people were looking at you like, what is she doing with you? So now, instead of dealing with your own inadequacies, you're going to say the public is scrutinizing us. They're not scrutinizing me. The public already knows Keke Palmer. She was already that girl before she met you. So instead, you're going to transfer the... That's crazy. This is crazy stuff right here. How are you going to transfer the anxiety about you being worthless onto her and make it seem as if the public is scrutinizing her and not you? So, yeah, the public, now the world sees us, he said. What you mean us? They see you. They see you, right? And the reason why you're so anxious and the reason why you're so insecure is because you don't have nothing to offer and people see you as a downgrade. So instead of you taking accountability for that and trying to up your game, they're going to say, no, we're the problem here. We got to be perfect. What do you mean we? This is not we. This is not Darius and Keke being scrutinized. It is Darius being scrutinized. Keke already went through that. She's already mastered the art of public perception and public relations and all that stuff. She's done this for years. You're the issue. You're the one with nothing to offer in a sketchy past. Now you're under scrutiny and trying to make it seem as if that's something that Keke has to worry about. Okay, so now here we go. Back to the article. Exactly, Jackson said he and Palmer have been dating since 2021 and welcomed their first child, Leo, their first son, Leo, in February of this year. Speaking further on their relationship, Palmer said, it's a lot of pressure because we're very proud and there are things that we want to share. At the same time, we want to be able to maintain the privacy of our relationship. And I feel like we've done such a good job at being able to do that. Last week, Jackson received backlash after he called out the Nope actress for wearing a fitted black bodysuit under a sheer dress to watch Usher perform at his Las Vegas residency. Okay. He said, okay, Jackson quoted a tweeted video of Palmer dancing with the Confession singer alongside the tweet. It's the outfit though. You a mom. What that mean? You a mom. He's attacking her motherhood, not her, right? That's a big trigger for many women. And he knows that. He knows this. This is what narcissists do. Instead of saying, I'm insecure because you're dancing with a famous, rich, handsome, popular man, he's going to imply you're a bad mother for having fun without me. Okay? Following the negative response to his comments, he wrote in a tweet, we live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case. But that's not what it's about, though, is it? It's not about standards and morals, sir, at all. Because I remember reading somewhere a few months ago that this guy, Darius, convinced his ex-girlfriend to get an abortion, to terminate the pregnancy, so that he can be with Keke Palmer, who's more famous. So he's also a clout chaser, like many Aquarius men are. Now, I'm not saying that women should be out here, and I don't agree with women out here, being like Sexy Red. I don't agree with that. But I saw Keke's outfit. It was tasteful. I wouldn't wear something like that because it is what it is, but it was tasteful. She was feeling herself. It is what it is. She's not out here hoeing around, right? Okay. So back to the article. On Friday, Palmer seemingly responded to the public drama in a video with her son Leotis on Instagram. One thing is certain and one thing is true. I'm a mother through and through. Right, because she knew that he was gaslighting her. He was implying that she wasn't a mother because she was wearing that outfit. That is very toxic. He's a very toxic, dysfunctional, and abusive person. Now, I'm not saying that I condone physical violence in any relationship. I don't condone it at all. But I do understand reactionary abuse. I do understand somebody really trying to break you down mentally and emotionally to nothing, to the point where you got to strike back. You have to do something because it's too much now. You're doing too much. I remember Whitney Houston saying she slapped Bobby Brown before because, again, he was doing too much. Some men out here who are narcissists refuse to put their hands on you. They won't do it, but they will do everything in their power to drag you to the dirt when it comes to their words and their actions, as far as cheating on you, spending your money on other women, okay, lying on you to the public, trying to discredit you, discredit your value, your motherhood, your womanhood, like Martell did with Melody. Martell tried to make Melody out to be the worst kind of hoe who wasn't taking care of her kids, all because she gave him 85% instead of 100%. Now that 15% makes you worthy of being degraded and disrespected by not only me, by my mistress. Okay. Now, back to the article. Jackson briefly deactivated his social media accounts on Thursday before returning Friday. Eagle-eyed followers noticed that posts, including Palmer, were missing from his IG account. The new parents are no longer following each other on that platform. This was back in July. They should have been broke up. I don't know why she had a baby with this guy so quickly. It's, whatever. It is what it is. But I do not believe for 1 second that if Keke Palmer put her hands on this man, allegedly, that it wasn't unprovoked. And I'm not saying that I'm condoning it because of that, but I understand that a lot of these men who do not have power, who do not have money, who don't have any ambition, they will try to take your power from you through verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, gaslighting, manipulating you, and lying on you. I know that for a fact. For a fact. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've experienced it, and I have talked about it on this channel about Martell and Melody and other couples who've gone through the same thing. Most men cannot handle a woman who has more power and control in the relationship. So they'll find subtle manipulative ways of making you feel like they're the prize, like they're doing you a favor by being in a relationship with you, even though they have nothing to offer you. Melody could have married anybody and probably gone to the same level that she was at when she divorced Martell. Right? She didn't need him for that. She was always ambitious before she met him. That's what attracted him to her. She always had those qualities. And as soon as she is with him, now those qualities are an issue. He's benefiting from her ambition and her intellect and all the stuff that he is criticizing him for, but now he's using it as an excuse to justify cheating on her. The same thing with this guy. Holding somebody who's taking care of you to a perfect standard. Who are you? Who are you? Seriously. And now that the SHIT has hit the fan, you're going to go to the blogs and run to the blogs to try to make it seem as if this woman who volunteered to take care of you, basically at a loss to her, you were a liability to her, that now she was dead set on destroying you and ruining your life. Did she hold you to a perfect standard? Why would she put her hands on you if she did? What did you do or say to elicit that response? I'm not saying, again, I'm justifying it at all, but I understand why women and men who go through this verbal, emotional, mental abuse, why they snap. I know why this happens, right? And like I said, I'm not justifying abuse. I'm going to say it 15,000 times. I'm not justifying domestic violence and abuse, but when someone tries to hold you to a perfect standard, that's already a red flag for abuse. That is very controlling behavior. And you called out her motherhood. You try to make it seem like she wasn't a good mother because she's wearing an outfit to an Usher concert that she paid for. She wasn't having sex with Usher. She was on camera with him, just dancing and singing with somebody who has more to offer than you do. And that's why you were threatened. So because you hurt my feelings, I'm going to attack your motherhood. Because I can't give you what Usher's giving you. I don't have no money. I ain't got no talent. I don't have no celebrity, no fame, nothing. I'm going to attack you where it hurts the most. On social media. You're a mother. Wow. So yeah, I won't be surprised if this happened, okay? But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Keke Palmer put her hands on this dude? And if she did, do you think that there was a good reason for it? Or do you think that there's no excuse for putting your hands on anyone, regardless of how much they verbally, mentally, and emotionally abuse you? All right, guys, I'm leaving it there. For my Stargazer members, I have posted the Rihanna commentary discussing how she turned her identity into a brand, which made her wildly successful. All right, guys, I look forward to getting your feedback. Please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you, and I'll speak to you soon.